That's odd. No. Hmm? Sorry, guys. Huh? Yeah. Well, maybe it's gonna get better later. I think we had it like this, maybe. Possibly. Was this on? Looks the same. I don't know. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody. Okay, my camera is like super dark. That's not cutting it. Wait. Ah! Wait, did I have this maybe? Whoops. Yeah. Okay. Is that better? Unsure. Okay. I think this is brighter than before. At least it looks to me like it's brighter. I don't know if that's real or not. No idea. Because yeah, Zach used my camera and he just changed all of the settings and I don't have any recollection what my settings were. So I think this is how my settings were, but really unsure. But well, anyways, we're just gonna try it like this. It's gonna be fine. So give me one more second. So I have the stream manager up and then okay, now I'm ready. But welcome guys, how you doing? Welcome in the new year. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to you too, Asta. 1, 2, 3. Oh, what do you mean? It's so beautiful outside, by the way. Wait, I want to show you guys a picture of what I see right now. It's literally, it's so snowy. Like, do you see all the snowflakes? Like, can you see all those snowflakes? It's so pretty. Yeah, that's so cool, right? Like, we didn't have like snow on Christmas. And really, like, we had like, it was snowing like once before, and that was it. But only for like I don't know, like a few hours, and it instantly melted away. And now, 2 days ago, actually, it snowed really much. And since then, we had like amazing snow. And like it's snowing the entire time. It's staying, but it's not too cold outside. It's like sort of like German cold. Like it's not as moist. The wind is not as strong. And so it's actually like really pleasant. Like you can just go outside, you can cycle. It's like fine. I do have to say it's quite like slippery. So we were cycling yesterday, and it was an adventure. But I don't know. It works fairly well. Like it's fine. Like you can't like I wouldn't go with like an e-bike with like 25, like for sure not. But if you just cycle like sort of slow medium speed, it's like really fine. You send it all to me, you don't like snow? Oh, well, I'll take it, you know? You got like mud snow mix? Ah, so like really wet snow? Yeah. We only have that like on the street, right? But like apart from that, it's like really, really amazing snow. Yeah. And hi, Fluffy. Welcome, welcome. But if you live in a and they will not put salt on the roads, it's slippery as hell. Yeah, exactly. Like for us, like some of the cycling paths actually like have not been cleared at all. So like if you want to go to the train station, there's sort of like a last bit where you need to like where usually like there would be a street for like cars back and forth, and then there's like cycling paths, which are doubling down as sort of like walking paths as well, like on the left and right, but they're like fairly slim. And yeah, they didn't clean them at all. No, it's like full on snow there, so we were just going on the uh yeah on the road. You like my accent? Thank you. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Actually, let's get to the mental health part. How's everybody doing? Like, how was your New Year's? Did you get safe and sound into the new year? Or was it a shit evening? For us, it was a really, well, how can you even describe this? Eventful evening, I guess? You're a 2 out of 10. Hmm. Your dog was so scared and you were super busy comforting her. Oh, yeah, we were with our neighbors and their dog is also like really, really scared. Like their dog is a rescue dog from I don't even know where actually. I forgot. Um Anyways, like he's a rescue dog and he's really, really scared. And apparently he was like living outside, like on a chain the entire time. So I sadly believe, like knowing humans, like that he was just like bothered with these with fireworks where like back when he lived there. Because yeah, it can be like really, really quiet, like even on like TV or something. And he's gonna like start to shiver and everything. So since the break here in the Netherlands, and all the school kids being home and stuff, he was getting like sort of like some type of like heavy medication to like calm down, you know. It didn't fully do the job, sadly. Like even with the heavy medication, he was still like really scared. At like sort of the so at 12, they actually like they have sort of like a weird like sock situation thing for his ears, um, to like put that on as well. And then he was just like with us the entire time, but it was fine. Yeah, I think probably most rescues have like troubles with fireworks. Like I don't know, like if you've had to be outside while New Year's, I feel like anywhere as a dog or a cat or any type of animal really, you probably are traumatized from fireworks. Shop return is shitty. New York, I feel bad for my dogs. Mm. Yeah, New York, there's probably like lots and lots of fireworks, right? Like for us, this is apparently the last year where like, well, it's not apparently, like this is the last year where fireworks are like allowed. I'm actually not entirely sure um how they criminalized it. So I don't know if you can't, like, if you can just not buy it here anymore, or if you're also like not allowed to use it. But I just know that technically, like, something around this was like criminalized. So next year, like, probably is gonna be less. But yeah, I don't think exactly like you say. I don't think it's like gonna like go away fully. Like, fireworks are so loved by some people, like they just gonna do it anyway. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Yeah. But yeah, I do think it's gonna become less. Like, I don't like, again, like, I don't know how it was criminalized. But I definitely think it's gonna be less than before. But yeah, our like here was like really eventful. Somebody, like, I don't know who, but somebody literally burned down like 5 cars on like New Year's. Um, yeah. And like from a friend, I know that somebody burned down a car there too. So I don't know what's going on in the Netherlands, but like people like to burn down cars on New Year's. Um, yeah. Like, we literally have people in our building who are like, on New Year's, I'm parking my car somewhere else because, like, this place is not safe for it. And yeah, so the last years there was like, it was like no car usually, or like no car directly where we live. Um, but like a few years back, there's been like 1 car, and yeah, like this year it's been like 5. Yeah. So it's crazy. Yeah, I live in the Netherlands. Yeah. Oh my god. And welcome, social. God bless you too. You were on a call? I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. Am I dumb by this Irish accent, right? I have no idea. Like, honestly, I don't know because I'm literally like, I come from Germany, and now I live in the Netherlands, and my accent is from like anything I watch online. So it really, I don't know, like sometimes I sound like really British, and then other times I sound like absolutely American. And then I have a phase where I watch like Australian YouTubers, and then I sound Australian. So yeah, my accent is like all over the place. Oh damn, Esther. Like, she was actually fine, but then 2024, jeez. I hope the kid learned something with the animal shelter. Like, I do think that like the animal shelter is definitely a good idea to um teach somebody some like, or to give somebody some connection to these animals, and just sort of like treat the root cause of the behavior. But yeah, in Amsterdam, like, have you heard of that, Asta? In Amsterdam, apparently, like the church caught on fire, like a really really old church, and it couldn't really do anything because it's like so high up. So like half the church just, well, burned and like sort of fell together and stuff. So, yep. I was 10 minutes outside and was hit 5 times. I live in Amazon on New Year's. Oh Lord. I'm glad you're okay, right? Like, you're okay, Fluffy. Rest in peace, all the fingers lost on New Year's. Oh my Lord. Yeah. I feel like, honestly, like, fireworks are like the kids' fireworks. Really understand why kids like them. Um, because it's just sort of like I don't know, like chemistry class experiments, you know what I mean? Um, but like these like really big fireworks, which like also like just go boom, like they don't make any like colors or anything, is a thing where I'm like, we just like, we call them fireworks, but essentially we throw hand grenades on the street because we think it's funny. Um, And honestly, that's not even like really incorrect because like the power some of these have, like the amount of like black powder they have and stuff, is sometimes so insanely high, that it's just literally like you just you just bought a hand grenade online, but you call it firework. I don't know. The family is good. Yeah, I think my family is good. I actually, so I wasn't with my family. My husband didn't have any vacation days left, so we stayed in the Netherlands, while my family is like celebrating in Germany. So that was a little bit sad. And from what I heard, my grandma was actually like not like I thought my grandma would like celebrate because she also lives there. So I thought my grandma would celebrate New Year's with my family. But apparently she didn't like she tried to reach out, but like nobody like called her back and stuff. That was like weird. Like and in the beginning she was like, ah, it's like fine. I don't really care about like New Year's, like only Christmas and like Christmas I was there, like it's fine. Like she really tried to sort of like make her peace with that situation. But then later on you just sort of like noticed how she feels like a little bit lonely. So I was texting with her the entire time, sort of like updating her on our day and like um yeah, giving her that like sort of connection or like trying to be there for her in that way. But how about you, Socialland? Yeah, you're from Rotterdam. Yeah, I thought you might like have heard from that or like because I know that like my neighbors are like really into like New Year's news. But yeah, I'm like nah. Hello, the one and only. Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, after self. And hi, Anton. Welcome. What? There's a video where they compare Dutch New Year's with ISIS with all the bombs they make. Jesus. Yeah. Well, depending on like how many people die on New Year's because of like accidents with like fireworks, it's like New Year's is really like it's a celebration and like I get this. Like a lot of people like just think about like, oh, I'm gonna be with my friends and we're gonna celebrate New Year's, like so excited. And you only see like the celebrational part of it. But it's honestly a day where like try you should really try and put some effort into staying safe. Like I personally like when I know I have to go somewhere where there's like fireworks or I could be hit with fireworks, I always check that I wear stuff which is made out of cotton nearly entirely. Because if you then like walk around in like polyester, you're gonna be the next firework. Like this is it's all gonna like melt down and like melt to your skin and stuff. It's like really nasty. So yeah, I like thick jackets and stuff like this. Really important to stay safe on New Year's. I just saw a group have been hit by a rocket, like 8 to 10 people just straight up targeted. That's so insane. I don't, yeah, like we can be happy that like guns are not legal in our countries, I feel like. Because people are not like they don't grasp the responsibility they have in that moment. They really don't. We actually made oliebollen on New Year's. They were really nice. Mm. That's really nice, Socialland. I think it's a really good way to remember somebody. I feel like anybody who dies is more interested than the people who are like still left are like fine, right? And like remember them in a good light and like the fun moments and stuff. I think like in that way, like I really like the way how different cultures treat death. Um, because I think it was the like on the Philippines where people also like are really way more focused on the like celebrational part. And like dance and like wear like colorful stuff and things. And I think that's a really beautiful way to let somebody go. I sat in the stable at midnight New Year's. Wasn't fireworks and worked together. Oh, I bet. So you just sort of had like horse, well, like keeping an eye on the horses, like trying to calm them down in a way. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's just annoying. I had fireworks for like 3 weeks now. Gets old really quick. Yeah, there's also still fireworks here, but it's really like it's only the like boom fireworks, not the like colorful fireworks. So it's like honestly like only the annoying part of the fireworks. Um, but yeah, I don't know, like the kids really love it. Like they always throw them into like the because we have like sort of like underground garbage bins, which are well made out of metal, and they always throw them in there, and then it makes like a really really loud boom, right? Well, I'm just sort of like I wonder, like, because it's loud here, right? Like within my apartment. Like, I'm not even like the it's on happening on this side. To this side, there's like two rooms between me and the outside. And then there's like the whole stuff outside. And then where they blow up, whatever they blow up, right? And it's really loud. It's really, really loud. So I'm low key like, how much hearing do they have left? Considering they're close to that noise they're making. Like, I don't know. But like, can't be much, right? Nice, Oshland. I'm glad. If they get too stressed, they can die. Oof, okay. So for horses, it's sort of like worse probably because they have like a bigger heart, right? Or is it the same for like is this sort of like it can also like happen? Well, but I don't hear this happening to dogs often, but I'm not sure. I also don't have a dog, so might just that I'm like not informed about that part. Yeah, they fired up everything. People have too much money. Not gonna lie. Have you like in the radio? They always interview people how much they have spent on their fireworks. There's people spending a couple thousand on fireworks. I live in sort of like a rich neighborhood. Even if the house I'm living in is not rich, like the house I'm living in is the shithole in the neighborhood, but the neighborhood is hella rich. So you can imagine like what you find next to the trash bins like the day after. There's like batteries which are like this big or something. Where it's like Jesus Christ, like back in the day where I bought fireworks in like, when I was like 10 or something, you know? Like this would have cost a fortune. Like now you need to, I don't know, like spend like sell a liver or something to be able to afford that. Like that's crazy. Yeah. And welcome, Juvie. Life is good. How about you, Juvie? Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I don't know what you mean, Socialland, but sure, I guess. Always remember to stay respectful. Yeah, so receipt for over 8K. Jeez. Maybe nihilist. I don't know. I can't relate to that, honestly. Like, I don't know. Like, I understand the like I can understand why you like fireworks. Like that's something I can understand. But when I say like fireworks, I mean like the stuff which is like colorful. Um, and I can also understand that like with the New Year's you want like one like nice battery or something, which gives like a nice like you only turn it on once and then you stand there with like your champagne glasses and just enjoy the show with your family and stuff. Like I can understand that part. Um, but anything which goes above like 1 hour of like having to stand outside in the cold, it's a thing for me where I'm like that. I don't like. How is that not boring at this point? But yeah, I wish they implemented light shows instead of fireworks. The drone shows are so amazing. I would love that. I would love to see one. That would be really, really cool. And you could even like honestly like you could even like uh sort of like change the day. So like in this city it's like on that day, in the next city it's on the other day. So you can like you have like one person with the drones who's like then like going from city to city. Like even that would be fine, I feel like. I don't know. Mm. 65 and 70 million on fireworks, yeah. And the damages were like, I feel like 280 or something like that. I thought I heard a number like this, but like really high. I used to go to Erasmusburg to watch a fireworks show. Yeah, I feel like that would also be fine, right? Like if some people like really, really want fireworks because it's like such a crazy tradition for them or something. Like if a city just like puts like just like like get someone professional person to do like one show which goes like let it be half an hour, and then like everybody can go there and meet up. Like that would also be like nice, like I just don't understand why we need to give like explosives to amateurs. Like I feel like it's gotten a bit too far in that like how like because the kids fireworks are like fine, right? Like nobody really cares, I feel like that's not the like big no-no. Um, but yeah, like these big ass fireworks, they're just like they're illegal for a reason. But I feel like it's really hard to get a grasp on this situation there. Like they did in the Netherlands. I feel like they controlled some place or something and like uh catch like a lot of like took in a lot of the illegal fireworks. But it was only like a sort of like a small control situation. Um, but yeah, like how would you even implement something like this? I don't know. I feel like the better way to actually go about it is with education, maybe. Like really like have sort of like a school program where you educate people like on fireworks and like what the negative effects of those are. Because I feel like some people like really don't understand, like not properly, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's low. Oh, okay. So maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was 820 or something. I don't know. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's also a thing like that people like blow like shoot fireworks at people is so freaking dangerous. But yeah, I feel like most of them like don't really understand what they're doing. I don't know. Like I don't like they don't shoot Am I back? Oh my god, the delay is huge. Okay, yeah. Because I was about to say, like, technically I'm already back, but like the delay is huge. Um, but yeah, anyways, I guess. Yeah. But I feel like there is like I feel like we need to work on the competence of people with fireworks. I don't know. Yeah, exactly, because they're really not a joke. It's explosives, and that's something you need to understand in that moment. It's like when I was a kid, like I also like me and my dad were like sort of like into fireworks. Um, but I don't know, I like it was always like safety first. And it was never sort of yeah, like we make like stupid jokes like throwing that at people, like no, never. And yeah, so it's I don't know, I feel like everybody needs that sort of like introduction or education with fireworks. Um, so yeah, I feel like educational programs would be something which work, but mm. Ooh, at some point we actually had a like we had a small battery back then, and my grandpa opened it, and he opened it like a little bit like wrong. Um, and apparently the sort of the power of the fireworks was like so huge that the battery actually fell over. Um, and even though technically it was like sort of on an incline and the battery should have like fell in that direction more easily, and we were standing here, the battery actually fell in that direction and then shot at us. Um, so yeah, we were running. Um, we were running. That was not fun. Yeah. Where did they sell them to? In elementary school? So, okay, just to make sure we're on the same page here, elementary school in Germany is from the ages of like usually like 7 years old to like 10, 11. That's the age group. Is that the same wherever you live? Oh my lord. That's insane. Sure. Our society is really funny sometimes, I feel like. We're so contradicting ourselves so often. We're like, oh no, you can't give your kids too much sugar. And then at the same time, but like fireworks. Um, so definitely, like, I'm really, really happy that I would have never have to fear that my dad would like hit me. Um, but yeah, like people do need like consequences and proper education. Like that's what kids really need. Like they need to understand why not. They need to understand the like consequences of their behavior. Because kids are like they don't like properly understand things, right? So like sometimes if their logic is sort of like not properly working from our perspective, it's not working because they lack information. Like they can't make a really like good, like well-informed decision because they just don't have the informations to do that. So I don't know, just properly educating our kids is definitely the way to go. Because then they actually don't do it. Because otherwise they just like do it when you don't look or something like this, you know? Like they need to understand so they're like good humans on their own. Because if they don't understand, they're only good humans if you control them, you know? Because for them, like it doesn't make sense, right? Because they didn't understand. And you need them to like be able to stand behind that decision so you can expect them to actually make that decision on their own as well. Oh. Welcome to something is different. Is it just the jacket or is it that the camera is darker? Because I do think it is. The worst kids with fireworks are boys between 12 and 15 years old. Yeah. I mean, it's like it's not really surprising, right? Like we do have like a systemic problem that we don't, that apparently like men show up way like more prevalent in any sort of violence and violent behavior. So it's like that makes sense, right? Like that aligns with the rest of like the other statistics we have. Relax shoulders. All right. And welcome, Depressed Donut. Thank you for your follow. Oh, ice check as well, actually. That's a good idea. Let's all do that. So ice check essentially just means that you look somewhere where your eyes can focus on like a distance. So that should be like, if for example, like can be like the furthest wall in the room. But it like the further away the better. But usually above like 3 meters, it doesn't really matter where you look. But it should be further away than 3 meters. Because whenever we look into like, I don't know, like on our screen, on our phones, we really focus on like a very short distance. And if we do that with like concentration and for a longer period of time, our eyes can actually sort of like cramp up in that position. And just sort of like lose strength in that position. And so if we look outside, we are technically like automatically relaxing our eyes. Also helps with headache, for example. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to. I do think that the numbers are like so obviously one-sided, right? That we can like draw the conclusion there's like sort of like a systemic problem here, which is apparently like sort of like dependent on gender. But yeah, I think we should like treat like any like violent behavior and education around that and proper care for victims way better. And there should be like better consequences if anything like that ever happens. But usually if you look at like any sort of like solution-oriented approach, and that can also be like, for example, like from feminists, it actually like it shows that it also helps men the same amount because it's tackling the problem, sort of like not based on gender. So it's not only helping like women, but it's helping everybody who's yeah, who receives any sort of violence. Again, I'm not saying that doesn't like happen, right? I like will also point out that actually like what we know about the so for example like uh with like sexual assault, it's like the numbers are also like highly underreported and on like the how you say that the like in Germany you call it Dunkelziffer, which means like the dark number. Um or like the hidden number, I guess you can call it, is like also like really, really high. So what we can sort of like make out of that is that it's generally like getting justice and actually helping the victim is really shitty in our society. And that doesn't really matter for like who. So like we have victim blaming for women, we have victim blaming for like men. So it doesn't really matter for who, but we definitely have a problem with our society sort of like helping perpetrators what? The harasser, I don't know. Instead of the victim. Yeah. But I definitely like I do want to make the point. I don't think it's useful to point out that there's like also like that women also do like commit violence in that moment, because I don't think that's the important part of it. And also like it doesn't help, right? Because it's like only because like women commit violence as well doesn't mean we don't have to do anything against violence, right? And shouldn't like make that process better. So I think it's sort of like diluting the conversation in that moment and turning the conversation into a like who's worse type situation, instead of a situation of like we have a systemic issue and we need to find a solution. Right? Because that's what we're all interested in. Like we want solutions. So we just have to start somewhere. And any sort of like if we tackle like violence at the root issue, we're probably going to tackle it like in general, and it's going to help like anybody. Hi, Uguna. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. No, I entirely understand, and that's a big, big issue. So I definitely like I understand your point that it's like there's a big stigma around like if like males are the victim. But I'm just saying the problem is like the violence. And we need to do something against it, and we need to do something to help the victim. So it's like even if we focus that on that we need to like build more empathy, it's like specifically in schools, for example, like it would also help like male victims, because then we would like go against like victim blaming, for example. But yeah, like something like this should never happen, and victim blaming is like shitty, like hella shitty in general. Yeah. Like the harassers get away way too much, and there's like so often there's like so much more consequences for the victim instead of the harasser. And not only consequences in terms of like how it like fucks you up mentally, right? But like how like just like societally. Because I feel like talking about this is like really, really hard. Um and that's like in general, right? So yeah, exactly. But this is like sadly, this is something which is happening like so often to anybody. And I think like, you know, like I don't know if you're right, and it's like not being believed happens like more to men than like on like percentage wise. Like that the chance that this happens to men is like higher than for women. But I can definitely tell you that like women get not believed and humiliated so often as well, because we as a society we're really shitty with actually advocating for victims and helping victims and respecting them and properly understanding their situation. And just drawing consequences. We're so easy to like try and stay out of it or not wanting to believe it because it would like taint our view of a person or something. And that's just really, really shitty. What's the topic? I think like victim blaming and like, yeah, how our society is like really shitty in like helping victims. I think. And especially in like sexual assault, yeah. So yeah, but definitely like I see you as that. I'm not trying to like dismiss your experience here or anything, right? I'm just saying you're like not alone, you know. Men would less likely report violence or assault than females because what I know, they believe a female faster than a man. This can absolutely be the case. I don't know any numbers on that specifically, but again, this is not solution oriented in that moment. Because here the discussion becomes like, who has it worse? Like, is it worse for women or is it worse for men? But the conclusion we actually like, which is actually going to help people, is victims have it worse. Like, victims are treated like shit. They have to do with victim blaming. They have to do with like the whole, like the harasser just not like facing any consequences and like leading a perfect life while they have to deal with consequences and the emotional consequences of it. Sometimes not even getting like proper care or anything. And then the societal sort of like consequences of it too. But yeah, that's a thing where like, yeah, men maybe have it like a few percent worse than women in that, but victims in general have it like really, really bad. Yeah, exactly. So the solution is that we need to change something systemically about empathy. And the sort of like the biggest group where we need to start in general is, well, is determined by gender, just because we have statistics on that. It's like not only men or something, but like if we want to use our money like the wisest, we have a really good success rate with starting with that group and then including like the more we can. You're looking to leave Texas and trying to figure out where to move your family, and I'm like, where would be better? That's a really difficult question. Right. I'm honestly at this point like, Hi, Evan. Welcome, welcome. Hmm. Hmm. Well, I guess honestly, maybe like in a country with like good healthcare. And then it might be like easier to move with being on SSDIs. Or they should make a task force with police, social workers, and therapists for any form of violence or assault. I mean, sure, that would be a thing as well, but honestly, I think we need to start with education. Like, I think we need to change the mindset of our society. I feel like victim blaming is so ingrained in our society that we really need to change that perspective. And I feel like if we start with kids there, we first of all like help kids to not be in that situation and like ask for help if they ever are in that situation. Then of course we need like sort of any like sort of services which can help with that. But I do think we already have sort of like supporting services. But yeah, I feel like we're not going to be able to pass any major laws or anything if we don't change the perspective of society in terms of this topic. You know what I mean? Because it's still like, yeah, we need to have like people on our side for this. You got some stuff to do, my friend? All right, all right. I'm doing well, and I hope to see you the next time. Bye bye. And thank you for stopping by. You gotta go, Neelis? All right. Take care, buddy, and good luck with your day. I know you. Well, I do understand the idea behind defunding the police. Um, and like, there's like really interesting articles on this, where they sort of like explain the logic of this a bit more. And if you read into it, it's actually like really quite interesting take, how that would work. I personally just feel like a lot of things have to change with the system we have right now. But I don't think that having a police is necessarily bad. Like, I do think it makes sense. But I also think it, like, we really need to have like good police officers. You know, like we need to have people who are not sort of like who not join the police because like guns and weapons and like I'm like in the like movies, you know. But we need to have people who are also like psychologically like trained, and yeah, who maintain like really good mental health, who like really are connected to the community as well. And this is like a, I don't know, in some parts of the world and in some cities it works way better than in other parts, right? Greetings. Welcome, welcome. Hmm. You're a crazy person and you need help? What do you mean by that? How do you need help? But yeah, education is like really, really big. Education is really important and really big. And it's, I feel like what we sort of like see in America, especially, is how education actually turns into essentially into a war zone about like what of like propaganda, let's say, like what people believe, like what history they're being told and stuff like this. Oh, I think Taxing the Rich is actually really good. There's a really cool economist. I think his like channel is called like Gary's Economics. He actually has a lot of videos about like how to tax the rich and stuff like this. So if understanding more about this is interesting to you guys, I would recommend watching his videos and just looking into his message. He actually also went to protest with like fellow rich people in London, and then gave sort of like a what was it again? Like a check to where is it again? How much is that? Can't find it right now. But yeah, they essentially like they went to protest and like in protest like gave the government like a check with like sort of like the tax they would pay. And yeah, it's really nice. I don't really think taxing the rich is good though. I think it's necessary, honestly. But like the laziness like has sort of like a reason, right? Right. So why do you not want to work on your future? Hello, innocent guy. Why is that the case? Have you ever like sort of like thought about that? Because I personally, I don't really believe in like laziness, and that a person's just being lazy to the point where they where they like ruin their life. I feel like laziness sometimes comes from just not having like a proper plan, like an active plan, and just sort of not actively being lazy, but sort of like letting time pass, and then in the end, when the time has passed, regretting that you didn't do something. And I think that usually just like can be fixed by taking a more active approach and thinking more actively of what.
やっべ、寝すぎだ。大学行くから、俺先出るね。次いつ会える？ご縁があれば、かな。今回の人は当たりだったな。俺好みのいい体してたし、もう一回くらい。ダメだ。情とか湧いたら困るしな。今まで生きてきて学んだことは、多くを望まなければ傷つくことはない。ノーマル相手の初恋を引きずってるようなゲイには、何事もそこそこが一番。今日バイト入ってないし、サークルに顔出しとこう。こんちはー。よーずき。乾先輩、 昼間からストリップって何やってんですか。女子がいたら悲鳴あげますよ。わーい、ラッキースケベあざます。
俺がジュース引っ掛けちゃったんだけど、乾くまで脱いでるってこいつ。
逆に風邪ひくでしょ。ワイルドすぎる。ちょうどシャツあるんで貸しますよ。
あ、いいのか。ありがとう、ウサギちゃん。
いえいえ、お礼は晩飯で大丈夫です。こっちは十分目の保養させてもらいましたけどね。感謝感謝。先輩の裸はトリガーだ。高校入学して間もなく、体育館遠いのになんで更衣室に忘れ物なんて。部活始まってたら嫌だな。運動部怖い。でも石登るやつは面白そうだったけど。乾先輩の裸を見て、目が離せなかった。
どうかした？もしかして入部希望者？俺クライミング部なんだけど。
運動苦手のくせに流れで入部してしまった。それから先輩は俺を可愛がってくれて、俺のことを唯一、
ウサギちゃん
と呼ぶ。その呼び方やめてくださいよ。俺のずっと好きな人。
人数集まらなさそうだし、次のキャンプはバーベキューになりそうだな。俺、釣りしたいから川があるところがいい。
女性陣の意見も聞かないと。今日は来てないですけど、肉飲みバーベキューは不評だったし。
次のキャンプは女子キャンプにするんだと。だから男どもとは別々だ。
へえ、そうなんですね。でも女の子だけってちょっと心配ですね。
さすがにソロじゃないし、その辺は大丈夫だろ。まあ力仕事必要なら俺が行くとは言っといたけど。
なら安心ですね。先輩優しいな。
こいつ女の子に甘々だからな。女どもも彼女持ちって分かってるから安全か知らんけど。
無害的な意味ですか？どちらかというと逆のような気がしますけど、女性はいろいろとたくましいというか。
彼女といえば、そういううずきくんも隅に置けないですな。なんで替えのシャツ持ってんの？これからお泊まりですか？用意良すぎだろ。どんな子？まさかサークルの子か？なあなあ。
あれはたまたまですから、ワンナイト用なんて言えない。俺のことは別に。
井上、時間いいのか？待ち合わせあるとか言ってたろ。あ、本当だ。行こう。じゃあな。平気か？ウサギちゃん苦手だろ、この手の話。
いえ、全然。当たらずとも遠からずというか。先輩もご存知の通り、俺ゲイなので、相手は女の子じゃないですけど。
ちょっと話あるんだけど、この後予定ある？
特には。
よし、飯行くか。おごるぞ。
はい。先輩が優しいのは女の子だけじゃないけど。ごちそうさまでした。
ウサギちゃんって見かけによらずよく食うよ
な。何ですかそれ。小食のが顔に合ってるって言いたいんですか？
食いっぷりがいい方が見てて気持ちがいいけど、女の子はあんまり食べないからさ。
そりゃ先輩みたいなかっこいい彼氏の前だと気にするんじゃないですかね。可愛いじゃないですか。
かっこいいって。この流れだと飯で釣ったみたいで気が引けるんだけど、俺をかくまってくれないか？
はい。一人寝が寂しいとかですか？いや、彼女さんいるからそれはないか。
実はちょっと彼女の束縛が激しくて、毎日会いたいとか1時間おきに返信しろとか。距離を置けば向こうも冷静になると思ったんだが、家を張られててな。帰れない。
ちょっとどころか ストーカーじゃないですか。それ、警察案件レベルですか。
そこまでには至ってない。女の子だし、警察沙汰もかわいそうだからな。
ほんと先輩は、そんなとこまで優しくする必要ないだろ。俺は別にいいですよ。
うさぎちゃん、ありがとう。
次は高級焼肉行きましょうね。どうぞ、散らかってますけど。
お邪魔します。
成り行きで普通に家にあげちゃったけど、よくよく考えてみたら、先輩がうちで寝泊まりすんのか。どんな幸運だよ、これ。俺、寝れるのかな。乾先輩、大変なことに気づきました。
何？
うちにはベッドが一つしかありません。
なんだそんなことか。焦らすなよ。俺は床で寝るよ。
冗談でしょ？ベッド使ってくださいよ。
さすがにうさぎちゃんの家だし、変でしょそれは。
先輩にそんな扱いを強いるわけには、風邪ひいたりしそうで。俺が一緒でもよければ。
うさぎちゃんがいいなら構わないけど。
俺が一緒なんですよ。
キャンプでだって隣で寝てたろ。
いや、そういうことじゃなくて、俺がゲイだって忘れてませんよね。
ああ、なるほど。俺は全く気にしてなかったけど、うさぎちゃん的にまずいのか。
いえ、全然。先輩は好みじゃないので。
じゃあ問題ないな。
ですね。俺のバカ！とは言ったものの、眠れねえ。先輩が俺の部屋で、背中合わせの超至近距離に、寝相悪いふりして触るのはありなんだろうか。でも、ここまで気を許してもらえる関係を崩したくない。我慢だ。我慢。寝れませんでした。でも、先輩の寝顔を独り占め。
おはよう、うさぎちゃん。
おはようございます、先輩。これだけで頑張れる、俺、幸せ。合鍵ないので家帰るときは、スマホに送りますね。
ああ、悪い。電源切ってる。GPS やら通知やらあるから。
バイトの日以外は早めに家に帰るんで、部室とかにいてくれたら。
気にしなくていいよ。時間潰せるから。俺もバイトあるし。
突然ではあったが、乾先輩との同居生活が始まった。
うさぎちゃん魚好き？
はい。
じゃあ晩飯にさばくわ。
初めは慣れなくて緊張したけど、家に帰ると先輩がいるなんて、最高でしかない。ただ難点があるとすれば、性処理ができない。ワンナイト帰ってきて先輩の顔を見るのは死にたくなりそうでできない。
ぬいぐるみに懐いてないで酒飲もう。これ風呂上がりにうさぎちゃんと飲もうと思って買ってきた。
俺の状態を知ってか知らずか、生殺しだよ。もう早く来てくださいよ。風邪ひきますって。ラッキーどころか目の毒。
ごめん。うさぎちゃんしかいないからつい。
彼女さんとはその後どうですか？
付き合い続けるのは無理だろうけど、まだ落ち着いて話せる状態じゃなくて。
別れた方がいいと思いますよ。まあ先輩なら次の彼女もすぐできますって。
どうかな。前の彼女には構ってくれないって自宅で浮気されたし、今の彼女は優しくしすぎて束縛されて。女の子って難しいよ。立て続けにやられたから付き合うとかはちょっといいかな。 そういえば、俺居座ってるけど、彼氏とか平気なのか？
いませんよ。特定の人作る気ないんで、付き合うとか無理です。
もったいないな。付き合いたいって思うやつもいるだろう。うさぎちゃん可愛いから。
先輩、酔ってます。可愛いって、飲みすぎですよ。
なんか顔見てるとムラっとする。
やだな。欲求不満なんじゃないですか？
かもな。
俺がしましょうか？
しましょうかって、どういう意味？
どうしよう。酔ってる先輩に、俺まで釣られてしまった。変にごまかすより軽い感じで流した方がいいかな。溜まってるなら自分でするよりスッキリするし、提案というか、俺もしてないので、そろそろ辛くて。
確かに俺がいるから、できないか。さすがに俺も世話になってる家ですることじゃないしな。でも、うさぎちゃんが俺のってのは、色々と。
そうですよね。男に触られるのなんて気持ち悪いし、普通は嫌ですよね。自分基準でした。
うさぎちゃんが嫌とかではなくて、彼女がいる身としてまずい気が。
俺が嫌じゃないって、なんだよ、それ。そんなこと言われたら、変な欲が。そういう。こんな機会、二度とないんじゃ。もっと気楽に考えていいんじゃないですか。俺の手もオナホだと思って。
その表現はうさぎちゃんを物扱いしてるみたいで嫌だな。
こんなの聞いたら、もう無理だ。今回だけなら。酔ってるのにつけ込んですみません。
うさぎちゃん？
先輩は何もしなくていいんで。気持ち悪いなら、俺のこと跳ねのけていいですから。ずるくてすみません。先輩の触ってるなんて、夢みたいだ。それだけでものすごく興奮してるのに。息遣いが近い。体液の音、匂い、すべての神経が刺激される感じがする。先輩の顔が怖くて見れない。嫌な顔されたら立ち直れないし。
うさぎちゃんの顔見たくて。
俺の顔なんてどうだっていいでしょ。この人、ほんと無自覚なのか。先輩のをするだけって思ってたのに。どうしよう。俺まで。なんですか？
俺のは十分してもらったから、今度はうさぎちゃんを手伝うよ。
待って先輩、俺のはいいです。俺のはダメ。待って。さすがに、キスはやりすぎでしょ。俺たち、恋人じゃないんだから。
そうか、すまん。
雰囲気に流されすぎでしょ。相手俺ですよ。危ねえ。先輩とキスなんて。絶対止まらない。好きだと伝えてしまいそうになる。びっ くりした。一瞬心臓止まるかと思った。それだけはダメだ。
あのさ、ウサギちゃんってこういうことよくするのか？
俺は先輩とだからよかったけど、先輩は違うから。ああ、軽いスキンシップみたいなもんですよ。俺と先輩がどうこうなるわけじゃないんだから、深刻に受け止めないでください。自分でするより気持ちよくてラッキーくらいでいいんじゃないですか。
ラッキーか。そうか。ウサギちゃんは俺のこと好きにならないからできるんだよな。
いい。するんじゃなかった。あの日以降も、先輩は変わらず接してくれるので、俺にとっては良かったような、良くないような、そんな感じだ。先輩がうちからいなくなったら、このモヤモヤも消えていくのかな。先輩がうちにいるのは嬉しい。でも、悲しい。先輩の手、ゴツゴツして大きくて、気持ちよかった。あの日のことを思い出しては、俺の欲求不満は増していくばかりだ。
ウサギちゃんただいま。
お帰りなさい。
まあ、なんというか、彼女と話してきた。
はあ。彼女におられたんですか？
待て待て、捻挫だし折れてないし、どんだけ高温なんだよ。簡単に言うと事故です。エスカレーターから落ちそうになった彼女をかばって、俺が落ちて、彼女もパニックになってたけど、落ち着いたから家に返した。
そうだったんですか。大変な一日でしたね。
それで手もこんなだし、一旦家に帰ろうかと思ってる。今日はそれを言いに戻ってきた。
そんな、利き手怪我してなおさら不便なのに、俺なら大丈夫ですから、いてください。
それが、風邪ひいたみたいで熱っぽいんだよ。
風呂上がりに半裸飲みやめてくださいって言ったのに。
耳が痛いです。すみません。
とにかく病人を追い出すなんてできません。
ベッドが一つだから、ウサギちゃんに移すのが一番まずいだろう。
こう言えばこういう。俺が人間湯たんぽになって、一日で治してあげます。
いいのかな。
先輩の体、熱い。大丈夫かな。背中広く感じる。心臓の音聞かれたら恥ずかしいな。自分より俺のことを心配して言ってくれたけど、くっつくことを許してくれて嬉しい。はぁ、出て行くって急に言うから、どうしようかと焦ったけど。先輩の家はここじゃない。でも、俺のこと嫌じゃないなら、もう少しだけ。何これ？なんで向かい合ってんの？寝相？あれ？先輩着替えてる。体も熱くないし、熱下がったのか。先輩のが足に当たってる。これ、取ってないか。先輩の。
うさぎちゃん、おはよう。
すみません、おはようございます。
これ、トイレ借りていいかな？
その利き手じゃ無理でしょ。俺が、します。先輩は何も言わなかった。自分を苦しめることになると分かっていたけど、抑えられなかった。 輩の匂いに、体に触れることはできても、俺の欲求不満が消えるわけじゃない。
今日はバイトで遅くなります。
俺も行きつけのバーで飲んでから帰ります、と。久しぶりに来たかも。ここ出るところ先輩に見つかって、ゲイバレしたんだよな。
あれ、君さ、もしかして、俺のこと覚えてない？
あ、この人、体はいいなって思った記憶、ある。ここで偶然会ったのも、何かの縁なのかな。人肌、敏感になってる。この手が、先輩のだったらいいのに。なんか今はもう、誰でもいい。さ、今から、ホテル、
うさぎちゃん。帰ろう。
先輩、なんで、痛いよ、先輩。痛いですって。
ごめん。
家に帰るなら鍵渡しますから、邪魔しないでくださいよ。俺にだって性欲あるんですから。先輩のせいで我慢してるのに。
俺のせいなら、俺が責任取るよ。
はい？
うさぎちゃんが俺とすればいい。
なんて言いました？
うさぎちゃん、我慢できないくらいしたいんだろ。行こう。
あれ、俺、でも、先輩、なんか怒ってる。頭真っ白で、まともに考えられない。どうしよう。手、震える。夢じゃないよな。先輩とラブホにいるなんて、信じられない。G 行為の延長と、話が違う。心臓、痛い。
うさぎちゃん、大丈夫？
先輩の手だ。ずっとこの手に触れてほしくて。この状況でも優しい先輩。戻れないかもしれない。いいのか、本当に。自分のポリシーを曲げてまで傷ついても。この先、これ以上の幸せなんて。俺、シャワー浴びるんで、嫌になったら逃げてください。それでも、こんな試すことを言いたいわけじゃない。一度だけでも、好きな人に抱かれたい。
逃げないよ。
嬉しい。そうだ、俺、先輩としちゃったんだ。想像以上に良かった。俺、何回も言っちゃって。本当はもっと余韻に浸りたい。けど、後悔のため息とか聞こえたら死んじゃう。先に帰ろう。
うさぎちゃん、俺と付き合って。
嫌です。
付き合って。
嫌です。先輩がおかしくなっちゃった。とりあえず、逃げよう。じゃあ、俺大学あるんで。あれ
待って、うさぎちゃん。急に驚かせてごめん。でも本気なんだ。もう少し話したいんだけど。
ごめんなさい。本当に無理です。
そこまで。
違うんです。先輩が無理じゃなくて、俺が人と真剣に付き合ったことなくて、告白されてもどうしたらいいかわからないです。
それが理由なら、試しでいいから付き合おう。もちろんうさぎちゃんが嫌じゃなければだけど。
そんなの、俺、先輩を嫌だなんて思ったこと一度もないです。でも、わかりません。恋人って今までと何が違うんですか？なんで笑ってるんですか、先輩。
もうキス以上のことしてるのに照れるんだなって。
それとこれは別で。お試しですからね。
はーい。うさぎちゃんと、半ば強引に恋人になった。が、やった後に勢いで告白して、振られて逃げられそうになり、焦りから裸で詰め寄る推しの一手。どれだけ必死なの俺。恥ずかしい。体を重ねたことで、いろいろな感情が込み上げてきて。つい、後悔はしていない。可愛かった。昔からずっと変わらない。うさぎちゃんとは俺が高校卒業してからもよく遊んでいた。
冬のキャンプに俺誘うとか、実は友達いないでしょ、先輩。
いるし、テントワークって寒いから苦手っていうやつ多くてさ、乗れないと。
俺だって先輩がどうしてもって言うから。
はいはい、感謝してます、うさぎ様。
嘘ですって。本当は楽しみで、前日寝れなかったんですよ。
子供かよ。
あったかい。
可愛い弟のような存在だった。うさぎちゃんはよく笑うから場の雰囲気も明るくなる。あれは、サークルの打ち上げで偶然通った帰り道。うさぎちゃんは男と一緒だった。俺に気づくと、初めてとても悲しそうな顔をした。次の日、ゲイであることを教えてくれた。
あの店でよく待ち合わせてて、変なとこ見せちゃってすみません。ごまかすよりいいかなって。
笑顔で話すうさぎちゃんの手は震えていた。別に変じゃないだろ。恋愛なんて自由なんだし。
でも、先輩、もう俺と遊びづらいですよね。
なんで？友達いないから困るんだけど。
やだやだ。俺がいないとダメだな、先輩は。
単純に守ってあげたいと、前以上に可愛く見えた。辛い恋をしてないといいけど。でも、その時の俺には彼女もいたし、まさか恋愛感情だとは思わなかった。昨夜、うさぎちゃんを見つけた時、他の男に取られたくないと暴走した。できることならグズグズに甘やかして可愛がってやりたい。恥じらう顔がたまらなく可愛い。こんな気持ち初めてだ。でも俺も加減がわからない。元カノたちも普通の人だったのに、俺のせいで変わってしまったしな。同じ鉄を踏みたくない。そもそもうさぎちゃん俺のことタイプじゃないんだよな。どうしたら好かれるんだろう。大食いだし、胃袋から攻めるとか。なあ、乾、キャンプ場の予約なんだけど、人数微妙だし、コテージでもいいかな。おー、いいんじゃない？ボート小屋近いし、釣りも行けると思う。ああ、そうだ。女子キャンお前に声かけるって言ってたぞ。手怪我してるけど、どうする？
なんでそんなに食料買い込んだんですか？ケーキまで買ってた。
お付き合い記念に盛大に食べてもらおうかと思って。
朝はパニクってて忘れてたんですけど、先輩の彼女さんは。
別れたよ。
え、
そう、ごめん。実は別れたのは怪我した日なんだけど、同居解消されたくなくて言えなかった。今は別の理由で一緒にいたい。
どういうつもりなんだろう。俺と付き合うって、どこまで本気で。同情？
ご飯作るよ。
恋人も作らないで遊んでるって、かわいそうに見えたのかな。それとも、気まぐれとか、わからない。この幸せは、きっと一時的なものだと思うから、先輩のことは好きだけど、答えるのは怖い。映画見たいのない？何か見たいのありますか？
別に。
先輩、なんか近い。でも、俺、先に風呂入りますね。
なら一緒に入ろっか。もちろんエッチなこともするけど。
やば。俺は一人で入るんで結構です。先輩の距離感がおかしい。付き合うってこういうこと？あんな甘々なのが続くの？すでにお腹いっぱいですけど。先輩バイトでかなり遅いのか。眠いし、ポストに鍵入れとこう。毎日毎日、甘々攻撃がすごい。離れて寝たのに、起きたら抱き枕状態。膝上抱っこに髪乾かされたり、キスも何回もされそうになったし、何よりボディタッチプラス至近距離が多すぎて、ムラムラのドキドキでずっとしんどい。先輩って、付き合った彼女といつもこんな感じなのか。お試し期間っていつまでなんだろう。
ただいま。なんでベッドで寝てないの？
先輩、おかえりなさい。ダメです。
どうして？じゃあセックスはいいの？
それはもっとダメです。今日から？
ごめん、言うの遅くて。昨日も疲れてたみたいだし、かわいそうだから起こさなかった。
誰のせいだよ。
手伝うって俺が言い出した手前、断るの悪いから日曜の朝一で帰るよ。
女の子たちも先輩がいた方が楽でしょ。キャンプ気をつけて楽しんできてください。
うさぎちゃん、一人で寂しくない？大丈夫？
何言ってんですか。もともと一人暮らしなんですけど、俺。
それもそうか。それじゃ。
一人か。寂しいってなんだよ。本来の生活に戻るだけだろ。先輩がいないだけ。元に戻るだけ。一人ってなんか久しぶりな気が。よーし、せっかくだし好きなことするぞ。とりあえず掃除でもするか。いい天気。布団ふかふかになるぞ。先輩も喜ぶ。今日は帰ってこないんだ。シーツも変えて。 思い出すな、思い出すな。よし。あ、先輩ご飯作ってくれてる。おいしい。先輩料理上手。タオル、これは先輩の服。あれ、田島さん、女子キャンで何かあったのかな？
ちょっと聞いちゃったんだけど、乾くん彼女と別れたって本当？
はい、と。なんだよ、女の子のキャンプってよく言えば、先輩だけが男でハーレムじゃん。彼女と別れたから気兼ねなく楽しめるもんな。先輩のことを狙ってる人、絶対いるよな。は結局、何もしないで一日終わっちゃった。俺のベッドってこんな大きかったっけ？連休なのに何もしたくない。普段どう過ごしてたんだろう。ずっと一人で過ごしてきたのに、先輩とこの部屋で過ごした日々なんて、出会ってからの時間と比べたら、ほんのわずかなのに、何をしてても、いろんなところで先輩の痕跡を感じてしまう。欲求不満すぎて、俺変なのかな。解消するのに遊ぶのって浮気になるのかな。セックスがしたいわけじゃなくて、ただ、なんとなく抱きしめて欲しかったり、人に触れたいというか、浮気ってなんだよ。別に、そんなんじゃ。また、人肌恋しくなってる。話してるのに、会話の内容が頭に入ってこない。どうしたんだろう、俺。
手震えてる。大丈夫？お酒強かった？
いえ、大丈夫です。なんでもなくて。帰ります。先輩後輩としてじゃなくて、好きな人と過ごす楽しさ、照れくささとか、手の大きさとか、細かい仕草、恋人の距離感に、触れた肌の熱さ、全部知ってしまった。先輩がいいよ。そうか、俺、寂しかったんだ。先輩の服着て寝てもいいかな。洗ったからあんまり、匂いないかも。ごめんなさい、先輩。下半身緩いって自覚あるけど、こんなに我慢できないほどじゃなかったのに。あと、ちょっと。こんな時間に、何？
ただいま、うさぎちゃん。
先輩、なんで？
早めに切り上げていいって言われたから帰ってきた。うさぎちゃんに会いたかったし、急いでたから連絡しないでごめん。にしても、ずいぶんエッチな格好だね。それ、俺のでしょ？
これ、
俺の服着て何してたの？ 俺がいなくて少しは寂しかった。
先輩が、俺、やっぱり無理です。先輩とは付き合えません。
俺がこの前無理やりしたこと怒ってる。ごめん。他に何か気に障ることしたかな？
先輩は何も悪くないです。俺の問題で。恋人とか向いてないし、どうしていいかわかんないし。
ごめん。そんな曖昧な理由じゃ納得できないよ。俺、うさぎちゃんを諦めたくないんだ。本当の理由を教えてほしい。
俺、怖いんです。今までは一晩の関係だったから、ただセックスするだけで、寂しいなんて思ったことなかったのに、先輩と一緒にいる時間が増えてから、我慢できてたこともできないし、どんどん欲張りになるし、このままじゃ、先輩の元彼女と変わらない。そしたら、先輩も俺のことを受け止めきれなくなって、俺は、先輩にとって、迷惑な存在になりたくない。
ごめん、悩んでるのに。もう、好きって告白されてるようにしか聞こえないよ。本当に元の先輩後輩に戻りたいの？
だって、俺、たった2日でこんなグズグズになって、先輩だって嫌でしょ。
俺は無理だよ。自分の気持ちを知ったら前には戻れない。うさぎちゃんの望みでもそれには応えることはできない。知り合ってからずっとうさぎちゃんの笑顔に癒されてきたんだ。迷惑に思うなんて絶対にありえないよ。だから俺のせいで泣かないで。好きだよ、うさぎちゃん。
俺だって好きです。ずっと先輩のこと好きだった。
気づくのが遅くてごめん。ありがとう。嬉しいよ。
でも、俺、恋人関係がこんな辛いって知らなくて。だから。
そうだね。不安になったり辛いこともある。お互いのことを思ってちゃんと考えられたらいいんじゃないかな。うさぎちゃんも知ってると思うけど、俺、恋愛下手だから。慣れない者同士だけど、一緒に頑張ろう。だから、俺と付き合ってください。
はい。
キスの解禁かな。
先輩としたい。
聞こえな。
先輩としたい。今すぐ。
ほら行くよ、うさぎちゃん。
待って待って。
何？
先輩も可愛いお土産買うんだなって。
うさぎちゃんが喜ぶかと思って。
大好き、先輩。
そんな作品も世の中には何本かあります。
いやー、すごくいいなって思いました。
これはでも本当にずっとね、ほのぼのしてて、いい作品だなと思って、
いいですね。
ずっと笑顔で収録することが
めちゃくちゃ楽しかったです。
幸せな時間でした。ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。はい、ということで、キャストトークでございました。皆さん、ぜひね、何度も聞いていただいて、はい、
ご感想お待ちしております。
そうですね、ご感想をお願いできればと思います。はい、ということで、それでは、ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
バイバイ。
You actually want to do with your time and what you don't want to do, because you only have a limited amount of time, and sort of for example, using like a yearly planner where you know, like, think about the goals you have, think about what you want to do, and then putting that into actionable steps and putting them in your monthly agenda, for example, and in your daily agenda. And then sort of like knowing and having that knowledge that this is what you have to do to actually be able to achieve that goal, and that you can't just like push that on another day, but you have to do it on this day, can really help to then like actually do it, and not just let like time pass without taking action. The other part with being lazy is really that we sometimes have a lot of goals we don't really stand behind, and we don't really feel like doing, you know? And I think that's actually like happens really, really easy, especially in our society, right? Because there's so many expectations around us. And all of these expectations lead to some sort of like goal, something you should do. And if we're not like fully standing behind a goal, for example, like being fit or looking good or something, but if that doesn't really like, you know, like matter to us, but only to society, we probably like won't spend like a lot of time on it, and then only at the end regret that we didn't achieve it whenever we face, or we think we face consequences for not having achieved it. But then it's a goal we like actually like, we just sort of like need to make our peace and actively decide whether that is a goal, and usually, well, that it is not a goal of ours. Your comfort zone is not allowing you to be free. How do you mean that's your comfort zone? Because you don't seem comfortable. I'm riding a loaded truck of expectations. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think everybody does, right? Like, only if you look at ads, for example. And ads are honestly like I feel like low-key the least motivational, because there's no direct societal pressure. Like, not as direct as like a relative sort of having expectations for you, or a friend or something, or actual peer pressure from your school. But even in ads, it's like make more money, like buy new stuff, like have all of these like newest technology and shit, like have I don't know, like have your like interior design on fleek, have your skin count fleek, be like really fit and have this like new fitness technology or whatever. Have the newest car, newest phone, all of that. And then we have the sort of like peer pressure expectations, which are either from school or from work, maybe social media. But I would maybe actually put social media in a different category, where it's like you like want to fit in, and there's usually some expectations around that. It can be a specific like style or a specific fitness level. It can be a specific lifestyle. Then we have social media, where we just like have a lot of like comparisons, which is usually just giving us expectations to be better in any way, shape, or form. Then we have the expectations of our family. For example, find a wife, get kids, buy a house. And then we have our own expectations. And if we add all of these expectations together, we have, within one day, probably enough expectations to fill a year's worth of work. But these are all expectations which are on one day, like 24 hours. And you can't do everything in these 24 hours. So, honestly, just building that skill of not fulfilling everybody's expectations and being fine with that, because you understand that your expectations are the expectations which matter. And then there's some expectations which maybe matter to you because of the consequences they have. But then it's also the expectations you decided on, and those matter. And you only have a limited amount of time. So you need to pick and choose what you actually want to do. What you won't regret. You know? And I feel like if we get to that point where we take a good look at our expectations and the goals we have, and actually narrow them down to a number of goals we can actually possibly do, you know, like achieve, because it's not way past our like time we have, but it's actually like we can do that, like we have possibly the time for this. We probably also will feel way better about ourselves, because we won't end the day with having 1001 expectations we haven't fulfilled. But we will end the day having had 3 expectations and having fulfilled 3, and then maybe having done an extra one on top of that. You know? So hmm. But yeah, it's a skill which is really, really important to, first of all, achieve the things you actually want to do. Because if you, you know, if you don't build that skill, you will, I don't know, like, how will you actively know in your head which of this, like, 1,500 expectations are the important ones, which you really want to do, because you would regret if you're 70 and look back on your life not having done those, you know? My goal is a marathon, but I lose discipline. I mean, why do you want to run that marathon? Why is it a goal right now? I want stability. How do you mean stability? Is it more like that marathon is the sort of like a physical goal of proving yourself that you can pull a long-term goal like through and actually like do it? Is that the idea? Hi, Grey Soup. Welcome. Hi, Stark. Welcome to the stream. We're talking right now to Hello Innocent Guy about, well, laziness, goals, and how to find out which goals are actually the important ones. Which expectations are actually the expectations you do want to, like, adhere to. And that, yeah, sometimes this like feeling of like, oh, I'm just lazy. It's honestly just blame we give ourselves for not having 1,000 hours in a day. Alright, be right back then. So, hello, innocent ghost. So, is that a thing? Like, is the marathon more of like a proving yourself that you can achieve like a long-term goal which needs preparation? Yeah. We can talk about that later when we look for the next topic. But yeah, still interesting topics to get to. Okay. Not exactly proving, but I feel sometimes my parents being emotionally manipulative. Telling me to do that, do this. So how does the marathon have to do with this? Oh. Oh, I bet I was dark. Yeah. Also, like, especially because like so much is changing the entire time, right? And I feel like especially when there's like a lot of responsibility and a lot of money involved, and also honestly just how how society has developed, I feel like there's a lot of expectation to not make mistakes, to always like make the perfect decision, which is not quite, well, a really low expectation or a really easy task. Might also not be attainable or achievable or sustainable with being mentally stable and healthy, feeling good. It's a lot of pressure. So, what do you do, Ostar, to mentally stabilize yourself and stay grounded and, like get ready for the next week of stress? Do you think it just gets like more and more and more and sort of like builds up, and then you have a vacation and it's going low a bit and then it like builds up again? Or are you actually able to like reset every week and then? What do you mean if they just hammer you? They just sort of like want to get like a provocative answer, or like sort of like push you in a corner, or welcome back. Hello, innocent guy. I just wanted to check back in with you. Do you know how you could explain to me how the marathon has to do with your parents being emotionally manipulative? Do a lot of exercise. Oh, exercise is really good. That's definitely de-stressing. Travel when I can. Nice. Traveling can sometimes also be exhausting though. But I hope you have like good travels, if that makes sense. Meet your friends and have partners. Have you ever actually like tried like counseling or therapy or something like this. That's my mind about nobody understands. I feel like I would have time, innocent guy, to understand. If you want to give it a try. Sometimes it can be really nice to be understood. Even if it takes some more explaining. Yeah. I don't know, the entertainment part is huge sometimes. I don't think so, it's not that bad. Oh, I didn't mean to say it's like bad or anything. I'm just saying I feel like, you know, like if money is not a constraint, sort of like having counseling or therapy can just be a really like time efficient way to get grounded, honestly. It's essentially like, in a way, it's like optimizing, it's like paying somebody to like, you know, like put in the work to like make your mental health like really good. Needs to be the right person, but yeah. It's just, it's like instead of putting the work in to like figure it out yourself, you know, just have somebody professional who could give you, you know, like the answers just like that. And I feel like if time is of the essence, you know, and if there's a lot of pressure where you just have to like de-stress more efficiently than other people, because other people have like 40 hours of like, I don't know, like minimal stress, and you have 40 hours of like really high stress, for example. Yeah, I feel like this can be a very very efficient solution, let's say. I honestly like, I really I sometimes get honestly obsessed with this idea of like when I see like a band where I'm like really like I really like them, or like a yeah, like a person where you like really love the content, you know? It's because I know like public life can be like so hard. I honestly sometimes really play with the like, I don't know, it's just sort of like a dream thing. I don't know, maybe at some point it's gonna come true. But imagine you see a band where you like really like the content of them, but you know, like, okay, band life is like stressful as hell. Like you need to be creative, like that sort of. And there's a lot of pressure on it, your creativity as well. And then you're a public figure and you have to do with this like public opinion and everything. I honestly, it's like I'm like really obsessed with like efficiency and also like mental health and psychology, right? And I'm also like noticing for myself that I'm trying to like make my mental health like as efficient as possible. But I sometimes just play with the idea, what would it be like to support such a band or like an esports team or something, and sort of like be the person of like the mental health department, you know, and just be like, I don't know, like fix everybody up with like really like nice mental health, and like so that they essentially tell you like, you know, like tell me whatever I need to do, I'm gonna do it. But I just want like good mental health, and then you can just do that. I don't know. I think that would be actually like really interesting to have a project like this, especially if it's like something you believe in. Oh, Esther. I can understand. I got banned from 5 streams. I was too innocent for those streams. Why do you mean that? What do you mean too innocent? I don't even know how somebody could be banned for being too innocent. So how does that work? Oh, okay. I put the wrong milk in my tea. Not technically, not yet a problem. But it's the type of milk which is like it's like because it's like vegan milk. It's, or is it vegan? I don't know. It's vegetarian. No, it's vegan actually. Yeah. I don't know why, but if you leave it in there for too long, it's like it's like turning weird. You know what I mean? I don't know. So, like right now, it's fine. We'll hope it stays that way. So innocent guy. What happened in those streams? I've been through so much, it messed me up to the point I'm not even sure if I could live a stable life. I personally think I feel like everybody can live a stable life. But I think for some people there's like more different types of lives where they can live a stable life. Whereas for others there's like sort of like the options you have on like what you need to live a stable life are slimmer, if that makes sense. Mm. Well, that's fine, innocent guy. Coming back to my question from you, innocent guy. You can also, by the way, you can say you don't want to answer something, right? Like, that's entirely fine. But I do just want to let you know, like, I'm interested and I would be here to listen. So if you do want to get into the marathon thing a bit more, and maybe, like, figure out why you lose discipline and how you can, well, not lose discipline, you know? It would be really sort of important to know how that has to do with your parents, because I think that connection matters. Also keep in mind I have bipolar 1. Yeah, I know. I feel like, yeah, I'm not I'm not saying it's like as easy for you as to other people, but I don't know. I believe there's a way for everybody. I think it might take a shitload of energy and effort, but I see. So you think it's hard like this to continue with your goal, for example, with the marathon? Thank you for the follow, by the way. Welcome. And hi, Billy Blee. welcome to the stream. How are you doing? In the new year now. That's also really nice. Not having to figure out the training process alone and like get help with training is definitely can be a huge motivator. And help on days where like motivation is low. I know it costs me a lot of energy, but people also want me to be really social. I do not have a battery for both. Well, I feel like what people want isn't really your concern, right? I think you should really do what serves you and what's good for you and what you want. I feel like there's a lot of people who want a lot of things from us, but we can't make everybody happy. And that's just the way it is. Oh, I see, innocent guy. Oh, something like this is really annoying. I mean, it would be definitely easier if you wouldn't live at home anymore. Is there any sort of option for that? Like, I don't know your age or anything, so like, or your financial thing. But I feel like if there's an option to like live alone, that can really help to get the space to explore that, you know. Welcome and thank you for the follow, hamster lawyers. But thankfully, innocent guy, anything like this is trainable. It takes energy to sort of like face that fear and like expose yourself to talking to other people and meeting with people. But it's definitely a thing you can train and, you know, get an easier time with, you know. You never find that itch to go out and explore. Is there anything you can maybe find which is motivating you to go outside, or is the marathon already enough motivation? Hamster noise would definitely be cool. Yeah, sometimes the stream is waiting for the response. sometimes with a delay it can get quite long. But it also gives me the time to like actually like go into what everybody's saying if there's like multiple people. So that's also good. And you're very good, Bilibli. I'm glad. I'm really glad to hear. Oh, Stark, you fine, by the way? Because, I don't know. Our talk just sort of ended. Just checking in. The upstream bandwidth of the live broadcast network is insufficient. Well, my internet today has actually been sort of like, well, annoying, but right now it looks pretty good actually. Right now it's like just above 6,000, so that should be fine. I just have this like really fluffy jacket. I think it's a jacket. Making Flemish stew. Nice. Yesterday there was a family function of my mom's relatives and I went there, but I ran away taking the keys of my house from mom as soon as I finished my food. Yeah. I think sometimes family is a stage in life and can be quite nice once you live alone, get some more distance and can actually have like proper off times from your family. But if there's any way to have more, I'm the victim of my introspection. Oh, how do you mean that? Because I feel like introspection is usually quite positive now, because introspection makes you understand what's going on inside you. So how's that bad? Although I wear a very different style. Do you wear like punk jackets or? How will we summarize what we're talking about? So we started with sort of like laziness and getting stuff done, and there being like a lot of expectations. And now we're sort of at I guess more like maybe like family problems of like expectations clashing between you and your parents, and this feeling of like not being entirely free with what you actually want in life. I think that's sort of the topic we're at. Yeah. And how are you doing, Navandra? Self-love is always important before you start loving others, and I'm still trying to love myself. That's really true. Hi, Emily. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? More like fantasy woodsman, outdoorsman, camper, dad style. Oh, that's so cool. Love that. If you ever want to send like outfit pictures into the Discord, feel free to. You're hereby invited. I found out yesterday that I'm avoidant attachment. That's a big insight about yourself. So how do you feel with that, Asta? Why are there beings at all instead of nothing? Ooh. Luck. If you want to say it in a positive way. Otherwise, just random experiments. Not really experiments, just random stuff happening. Or if you want to go into religion, then there's some higher wisdom and higher being making that happen. It sucks, but also makes a lot of sense. Is there any like insight you got from it as that is like gonna help you with forming better attachments or understanding the attachments you have right now? And also, yeah, everybody drink something. Everybody hydrate. So how are you doing, Lavendel? How was your New Year's? And yeah, Happy New Year's to everybody who joined. I said it in the beginning of the stream and then I just forgot about it entirely again. That's a rare blue glass. Yeah. It's one of those classic IKEA glasses. I've started writing poems recently since I don't talk. That's really nice. I think it's a really good way to start things where you can. And if poems are a thing which is keeping you sort of like helping you to express yourself and just making it like easier for yourself, then I think it's a really good thing you started with that. And with the marathon, although I don't have too much information on that situation, I do want to say some goals can be too high in the beginning. Like if you say you struggle with going outside and you struggle talking to people, and then training for a marathon could be too much. And that's also why you could have such a hard time with actually keeping going. Because if something is taking so much energy out of you because you have to battle your anxiety so much and your body thinks it's like dying every time it's going out for the marathon, it's something where on one hand you can argue like, well, it's exposure therapy and the more you do it, the like better it's gonna get, right? But with exposure therapy, a really important part of the calculation is that you start tiny. You face fear, but you only face it to a degree where you can handle it and where you can like properly recover from it. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. And you always up the stakes a little bit and a little bit. And it could just be the case that you're asking too much of yourself, considering the anxiety you have built up over the years. So if you notice that, you know, like training for the marathon for you is really, really difficult exposure therapy, then it might be worth the try to start a bit, bit easier, and just start with, I don't know, just going in front of the door, getting the, I don't know, getting letters and stuff like this from this like post thing, and then going back inside, or taking the trash out and then going back inside, or going the other side to the other side of the street and then going back inside, and then going to a supermarket close by and then going back inside. Just like starting easy and upping the stakes slowly. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't know your fear level, right? So it really depends on the amount of anxiety you have. But if your training for marathon always essentially takes life out of you because you're like so scared, and it leaves you to essentially have to suppress your own emotions because otherwise you couldn't do it. So every time you go there, you suppress your emotions. Start with something easier. Start with something where you're able to explore those emotions, where you're able to feel that fear, without having to suppress your emotions because you can't deal with it anymore. That's more general advice I still wanted to give you. I try to, but also will talk to my therapist about it. Oh, you haven't talked to your therapist about the attachment style yet? I think that's a really good one. IKEA furniture can make some real nice fantasy character names, for sure. I'm the person that will push you away when you're getting too close and cry that you leave me. I mean, considering your history, that makes a lot of sense, Esther, right? I can understand why your body behaves like that. Why this is the way how you try to keep yourself safe. Your parents are with you? How you mean, Navandro? Do your parents, are your parents involved now in your situation as well? Is that what you mean? Hi, Irish. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? My happiness is filled with blisters. I mean, do you actually feel good when you go for a marathon? Like when you train? Oh, it's 7 a.m. at your place, Grey Soup? Ooh, damn. Here it's like 2 p.m. at the moment. I don't want to behave like this, but I do not know better. Well, our attachment style is not entirely out of free will, right? Like usually this is sort of something we like, which is happening like automatically or passively, you could say. Like it's not something we actively choose a lot of the time. But it's something how we try to keep ourselves safe. And I think like really understanding yourself in that way and having that insight as to that you're a avoidant attachment style and how it's not benefiting you, but how it's actually like ruining some relationships even, I think is really important. And in a way, like I know that you might only see it in like a negative way, that you like have this avoidant attachment style. But at the same time, I think it's really, really important to understand why you evolved this attachment style and why your body sort of like learned that this is how you navigate attachment. Because I feel like there's a lot of space for compassion there for yourself and for your own experience, and a lot of understanding for your body and how you're just honestly doing the best you can to keep yourself safe, and to understand that there's just that this might, not serve you right now anymore, but that this is a response which is happening in order to try and maintain safety for yourself. It's like after a breakup, I feel like having no one safe or close enough to open up to, and when I open up to them, then I'd be like, sorry for me being me. I feel like I'm irritating them. Lots of more things. Like I want them to be let in, and I want to be gentle, but it comes out as anxiety, fear that they will feel or how they might react. I keep assuming on their behalf instead of being in the moment, and I find it difficult with trusting too. Can be a really complicated way to navigate attachment style. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, I mean, my father is at his workplace only, but mom has came back with brothers, and no more alone, and moreover, I'm out of... And the new meds are actually supporting you? That's good. Have you tried the exercise I've given you, Lavanda? The one that, like, when you feel like really bad, that you sort of like try to like check, like get into the here and now by like looking around you, trying to notice what you see, trying to notice what you smell, trying to notice what you feel, what you hear. Have you tried that? It's not negative, it's I just do not want to keep going like this because it's not in my benefit. Yeah. I mean, thankfully, attachment style is something we can definitely change. What is the stream about? Is it like we share a problem and you provide then best solution, kind of? Well, I guess. It's like it's a mental health stream, and the idea is that this is a space where you can talk about stuff where you might have nobody to talk about, and want more information on or want help with. So it's usually not entirely that like I just give you a solution, but that I sort of like try to I guess like show you or help you determine a solution for yourself. See ya, Navandra. Yeah, exactly like this sort of exercise to get in the moment and stop like a negative spiral. Yeah. Yes, no worries, Navandra. Go do your prayers. Yeah, it's a really good one, right? It can be, well, it's not like working for everybody, right? Like everything in life, like everything is like, we're all different. This piano is making you sad. How come? We can also switch to positive flow. Hi Zigibertus, welcome, welcome. How you doing? You were kind of rocking the piano. Oh, I'm sorry, Asta. I just got a Steam Deck and I'm really happy because of it. Oh, cool. Oh my god, actually, I saw a 3D printable Steam Deck where you print the entire like Steam Deck and the keys and everything, and then you like do the bunch of electronics and connect it to your PC. It definitely made me like, I might want to do this. But yeah, there's like so many things I want to do. It didn't even make it on the list, honestly. I think I saw that video. Oh, I actually just saw the printing profile on how's it called? Maker's World, but yeah. You're getting a 3D printer soon? You want to get a resin printer? I would really need somebody to print my like Dice Masters. Please. Please tell me you get a resin printer. That's a lot of multicolored towels on the shelf. Oh. I was for a second, I was like, what towels? And then I looked into the stream and I was like, ah, duh. That's what you mean. Yeah, this is not this. Well, this could be a towel when you crochet one with it, but it's not a towel. It's crochet yarn. Yeah. This is crocheted with this. It's a jellyfish. But yeah, this is crochet yarn. And welcome to the chat. Only problem in my life is the long distance relationship with my girlfriend. I hope the long distance part is the problem and not your like the relationship. But yeah, long distance can be really, really hard. How are you guys managing? How often do you see each other? You're across the pond, probably? Oh, true, you did say it's 7 AM, right? So where do you live? If you don't don't DDoS yourself, please, but yeah, you know. Hi Mauri. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? And Happy New Year's. Wool? Well, I don't no, I don't think you can call this like wool is a specific type of yarn, though. Like this is not wool, this is plastic yarn, essentially. Yeah. Yeah. How's it going? How's it going, guys? I think quite well, no? I feel like the talks we had were definitely like insightful so far. We did have sort of like a few things like being tabled, right? But yeah, and like in life general, it's actually completely unrelated to the circumstances. It's going really well. But the circumstances are a bit it's annoying right now, actually. Yeah. It's well, actually quite fine. The only thing is that I'm like ending therapy in 1 week. And like I'm like, you know, I'm kind of like done with therapy. So it's like I don't worry too much. Like I don't, like, if I think logically about it, rationally, I don't worry. But it's a thing, Maori, where I feel like we all know that situation where we just like we know we're ready, but at the same time we're still a bit scared. You know what I mean? Like you've learned for a test, for example, and you did a lot of like the tests from like the years before and stuff like this. So you're like really well prepared and you have sort of like evidence that you would do well. But it's still, when the real deal is coming, it's just sort of, you feel a little bit like, did I prepare for everything which is going to come? Like, am I as prepared as I think I am? And then you're just like a little bit worried of the unknown, I guess. So, yeah. But apart from that, I'm actually doing quite well. How about you, Maori? Use a Central Time? Okay, so a bit further away. Well, I mean, how much can shipping be for like a really small package though, Gracie? Like, it can't be that bad, right? I'm from past 8 year living in the USA and also dating this girl from past year. And now I started a restaurant in India where I work as chef. Oh, wait. So you were living in the USA the past 8 years, and since last year you're dating this girl, and now you moved to India to open up a restaurant and work as a chef there. So now you're like in long distance with that girl, right? Is that correct? This music is making me feel like I'm a tulip petal pivoting to the nail. Okay. I'm not sure if I understand the emotions that's supposed to mean. Yes, and I'm dating from... so you're dating her since 5 years. So you've met each other like IRL, you've spent time together IRL, you were together IRL, and now since when are you long distance now? And then after 2 months, you just met for 2 days? What country are you from? I've been puzzled at the accent. I live in the Netherlands. But I'm from Germany. The accent is from YouTube. Yeah, I know, but if you get like a PLA 3D printer, I have that at home. Actually, in my Discord is a 3D printing channel as well. The YouTubian accent, exactly. The accent, which is changing every week depending on who uploaded a new video, exactly. Nobody understands my emotions, it's okay. You know, understanding emotions, it's really hard in general, actually. In a weird way, it's definitely like an isolating feeling. But at the same time, we're not isolated with that feeling. Because I feel like a lot of people have had times in their life where they felt like nobody understands them and nobody understands their emotions. And I feel like what I learned in therapy especially is that a really important skill is actually to learn how to communicate your emotions in a way where other people can understand and have an easier time understanding. And to communicate your needs in a way where other people don't actually need to understand your emotions to be able to help you and be there for you. Because after all, emotions are a really, really personal thing. And after all, half the time, we don't even understand our emotions ourselves. So even, even if we were able to communicate them, they wouldn't really make sense because we don't even make sense of them yet. And I think sort of keeping that in your mind can really help with adjusting that perspective from, oh, I'm so alone and I'm isolated, to I can ask people for help and they will be able to help me if I know what I want. And I can explain people my emotions and they will to a certain degree understand them. That's sort of good enough, But sometimes I feel like we also can be quite scared to actually tell other people our emotions and open up and be vulnerable about them. Because what if they reject us? What if they reject us in this very vulnerable moment? And we can learn that we actually don't want to open up and we actually don't want to be vulnerable. Because it seemed or showed to be dangerous or showed to be not worth it because people don't understand us anyway. Or showed to be actually counterproductive. That people judge us or are too overwhelmed and then reject us. And I feel like especially if you've made sort of experiences like these, can be quite powerful to actually learn and choose to open up again and be vulnerable again. Because this feeling of connection can give us a lot. Even if nobody properly understands the emotions or the situation. And even if other people can't physically help us, but only hold our hand. Because the funny thing is actually, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's been an experiment which proved to us that if a loved one is holding our hand, we feel less physical pain. And there's been another study which actually implies that, or not implies, but is saying that physical pain shows up in the brain the same way as emotional pain, or more like emotional pain is showing up the same way as physical pain. So, for example, like being rejected and stuff like this feels like physical pain, and that's also why actually like painkillers are low-key are sometimes abused as like antidepressants, even though they don't it's not like a one-to-one situation, but it's how some people can get addicted to physical painkillers even though they don't have physical pain, because they notice how the emotional pain load gets lower too. And knowing that, if we put both of those together, actually somebody being there, just holding our hand, just hugging us, can actually reduce our emotional and physical pain. So even if somebody doesn't understand, and even if somebody can't physically do anything for us, or can't physically like fix the situation for us, just somebody being there holding our hand, hugging us, can make a big difference. Yeah, there's a lot of science. You are absolutely correct. Yeah. For me, when I sort of like left from my parents and found my boyfriend, now husband, I was so starved from physical content, like connection, and also emotional connection, that our relationship in the beginning was actually like really not really healthy. We were both low-key, like, in a way, like, addicted to each other, and dependent on each other, because we were so starved on this, like, contact. And because we were so unable to, like, just, in normal contexts, like, ask for this from our friends and ask other people to support us in this way and be there for us in this way. But only in the context of a relationship where it's like socially implied and there's this social expectation. So you don't need to like yourself communicate that. We were able to get this need met. But the thing is, we're like in that way, we were dependent on our partner, which made the whole thing toxic. And the thing we sort of like then learn and still learn is how we can actually like ask for like these needs being met by our friends and family as well. Because we can ask friends to like, if we can get a hug, like we could really use a hug. And they will do so. Probably most of them. Like, I actually, I sort of like implemented or whatever, for the lack of a better word, implemented, that whenever like friends are around, and like they come to like usually they come from like further away because they're from Germany. So if they like are at our place, they like sleep here. And then like every evening before we go to sleep, there's like a sort of like a goodnight hug ritual. And since I started that, like those friends like they like really liked it. And like some of them like just sort of like said like, oh, like I really like that, that is so cute, I love that. But others actually like just sort of like also like whenever like when I was like busy or like I forgot or something, they were like, oh, like coming to me to like give the hug. So it's something where you can, you know, if you know you need something like this, there's ways you can help yourself get that need met. Yeah. I've done an unhealthy amount of research in this. Oh my god. Do you have like top 10 of like studies or whatever on this, Grey Soup? And do you want to send them to me on the Discord? And welcome back, Navandro. You've got no friends, my cell phone remains dead all day. Well, friends are a thing which have to be made, right? Like, they don't just like appear and we're entitled to them. But friends are a thing like where like, yeah, like connection comes at the price of comfort. Like we need to go out there, put ourselves out there, and find friends. But at the same time, friends aren't the only possibility we can get this need met from, right? Like there's pets, where it's like some pets are better at fulfilling this need than others, right? And then family, of course. Like we can always ask our parents for a hug, even if we're adults. Thank you for the follow, welcome. Yeah, my friends don't do that. They think I'm allergic to physical contact. Yeah, it's like, honestly though, it's a thing where like depending on your social circle, right? It's, you know, it's a thing which needs to be like, to be talked about. Yeah. I actually don't know how to pronounce your name, Beast, but I would just say Beast. So, thank you for your follow. We would have an issue, I struggle with physical contact. There doesn't need to be an issue. You can always just say you don't like that and don't want that, of course. I mean, nobody, like, needs to. That's hopefully, like, that's a given. Like, I'm talking about, like, consensual hugs here, guys. I can't join the Discord, I had max servers. Well, you just need to leave a server. Oh, like, huh? Interesting, alright. But yeah, welcome to the stream. I wouldn't lie, and as now you even know my historic rate, I felt like a lot that I need to be held. I need hugs, but I'm just unable to save place or people to just go and ask for it. I'm sorry for bringing my things up again. I actually am. It's fine. Hi, Grumpy Palace Cat. Welcome, welcome. It's... It definitely can be quite hard to build the confidence to ask for your needs and to get them met. But it's definitely a thing we need to build, right? And if you don't have it yet, you just need to start it at some point. Like, our needs are, like, if we're, like, independently, like, able to advocate for our needs and get them met, we will be fine in most situations. But if we're not able to, like, advocate for them, we really just, you know, we're, like, really dependent on our surroundings to just read them, which is really, really hard. I'm so bold of you to assume I remember what studies I looked at. Well, anyways then. I seriously just wish sometimes that I just never existed. It's... I understand what you mean. And honestly, that's a decision I think everybody needs to make for themselves, right? But I can only say for myself that I'm really glad I didn't. I'm really glad that I'm seeing this through, you know? And I don't know, like, you can look at it like a self-study if you want to. If, like, a person like you can ever find a normal life and then, like, try, like, all the different things. Make it like an experiment, sort of. But I think the world is not as dark as it sometimes looks. I think sometimes we're just not able to see the light. But I thankfully was always sure that there is light. I never had to make the decision if the world is just dark, you know? I always knew there is light, and I always knew I just can't see it right now. You know? So there was always... I don't know, like as long as there was hope for me to get better, that's like enough to keep going, you know what I mean? Because I always knew like when I get better, it's gonna be like so worth it. And I don't know, I think there's probably like even some Reddit thread or something with like, I don't know, like motivation or whatever of like stories of survivors, you know? Where like, which held on and which got better. All right. See you then, Grey Soup. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Grumpy Palace? Lenovo, no matter how hard you try, I'm never going to purchase your laptop. I love that. You're back from your 7 ads. Oh, yo. 7 ads is crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I think, like, as long as you keep trying, you're always gonna get better. And I think that what we need to be happy is really minimal. Like there, you know, like there's families who live in like in barely even a hut, you know, who have like their like some banana trees and that's it. And you know, if they can be happy, I feel like that's really showing us that like what we need to be happy is like can be like really minimal, and we can still be happy and have like a life where we see meaning in. Like I feel like how much our life is worth is really like depends on how much meaning we give it ourselves. So I think that was always what sort of just helped me like hold on, you know. Because I knew like I don't need to become a billionaire to be happy. I don't need to even like have a good job or anything. And you don't need like many friends or many material things. But yeah. Oh, it's really fine, Navandro. I think the only thing which I think like some chatters could like really appreciate is like a trigger warning for like self-harm or something like this. But apart from that, like you're really fine. How does your anticipatory anxiety like really show? Like how does it work for you? Welcome, Shrek. Hello, how are you doing? I'm extremely hard on myself. I'm ADHD perfectionist, so when it doesn't go as planned, my head turns to alarm stage 20 and goes into a full meltdown. Ooh, I get that. Ooh, like perfectionism. Yep, I've been there. Really have been there. For me, it actually, like, I learned about myself that my perfectionism has a lot to do with my with like childhood trauma actually. And that I thought like that I'm really scared to like make mistakes. Because I thought like when I make a mistake, like everybody is like the way my worldview worked was if I make a mistake, everybody's entitled to treat me how they want and like disrespect me and call me stupid and all of those things. And so the way I actually like overcame this, and this was treated in my therapy, was of course like just like education, but also actually like the imaginary rescripting therapy, imaginary rescripting exposure therapy. Like that was really important to me to just sort of like detach from this like emotional meaning from back then. And also, honestly, just like exposure therapy in IRL of like making mistakes and then what is happening, and then be like, everything is actually fine. And doing this, and also like for myself, like training my own, like my inner voice to be more kind, and like every time my inner voice was like really, really mean to myself, be like, but is this actually fair? And like look for a explanation which is kind to myself, and doing that more and more and more, and getting distance from people and sort of this like mindset where there's like a lot of criticism and where making a mistake or anything like means there is like just like disrespect can be expected, and it's like sort of like free. It's that's like really how I'm able to like deal with it like way better now. And like now I can just I don't know, like if I spill something or throw some water down or whatever, it's like throw a glass down or whatever I meant to say. It's really just, like shit happens. Everybody's just a human, it's fine, And I don't know, I'm really like a fan of like babying yourself in that moment a little bit, and really stepping into that like the mom you would have needed energy in these moments. I don't know, but that really helped me. By the way, how's the like, you said you tried the imaginary rescripting exposure therapy and you started with it, Asta? How do you like it so far? Your sleep schedule is so bad, Gray? Is there a way how you can like make it better? You're great, Trek, but last year was the worst year ever. I mean, that's I'm glad that you're great, even though like that sounds really good. So what do you hope for next year? Like, how do you hope it's gonna get better? Or like, don't even need to change anything because it was because of like, well, things laying out of your control. Like recently I've been fine, and when things have been fine in a way or two, it has been interrupted or something bad has happened to stop me or anything, and things are going way, way better. Like I'm running, I'm studying, I've been able to control myself. I'm taking ice baths, not ice baths, but icy watery showers. So right now this clicked in my head that everything is going well, so something bad is going to happen, which is making me cry, making me overwhelmed, and I will be alone. Is there anybody in IL you can talk about this? Like maybe your parents, or maybe a relative or a friend, Navandro? Because I feel like this fear that like everything is going too well, and like being suspicious of the happiness is something very relatable. I think maybe even everybody has that sometimes in their life. Yeah. Emotional neglect is really, really hard. And really evil. I'm sorry for you guys. But yeah, you're not alone. Yes, Gray. Let's go. Sucks for that other Discord. Yikes. No one's gonna be by my side, and yeah, so I'm just afraid, like, what bad is gonna happen. I've been praying to God to forgive me and help me. The storm is coming, like, I just don't want to be ruined right now, because after crying way too much, after trying way too much, I know I've been able to do things barely, and I don't want to lose it at any cost. Anxiety regards this way, way too much. Like, it can't be explained that how afraid I am of this thing. Now I understand, Nawandro. I feel like, you know, I feel like anxiety a lot of the time makes sense. And if we would have some more compassion with ourselves and some more space to honestly, like, see these negative feelings from a curious perspective, we would be able to see the logic here, right? Because I think your anxiety is so huge because how you see yourself, Navandro, is, first of all, that you don't want to die. And the second thing is, you're not sure if you can take another hit. You know that your mental health is fragile. And I think looking at this from that perspective, with that logic, is putting you in a space where this type of fear is not just coming from nowhere, right? And it's not unreasonable. It's not just anxiety. It's not just, oh, you're like, you know, you're just in your head about this and whatever. But it's a really real thing, you know, because you're unsure if you're going to survive the next thing, if you have energy to take another hit. And that's also a thing which is really relatable, I think, for a lot of people, because it's a thing where, like, how do we know before, right? Like, we don't really know our strength. But at the same time, our strength is really defined by if we still try. Like, so what I feel like this anxiety can, like, really show you is that there is a threat which you see as realistic and possible. And I feel like there's ways how you can prepare for this. There's ways how you can prepare if this happens to make sure that you're gonna be fine, you know? And this might be, for example, like letting this fear like motivate you to, I don't know, like speak out to somebody else to get some more support. And like do something that like this, which is like scary being vulnerable about this, but which is like easier to do because you're more scared of that other thing. It can also, for example, motivate you to put some more like resources into this. So I don't know, like for example, like go seek out another therapist or more therapy hours or something like this, where there's like financial resources involved. It can also be that you put more time and effort resources into this because you inform yourself online how you can make a crisis plan for yourself and what you will do in crisis, and that you prepare yourself for that moment. You know, that you could even make yourself sort of like a bag of like I don't know, like if there's like certain things which help you in moments where like shit is going down, you know, to like emotionally regulate and calm down and hold on. Like that could be sort of like, I don't know, like people in like, I don't know, action movies have like a go bag where they, when they have to like, you know, like leave the country, they have just a bed on like a bag under their bed or something. Like you could have like a, I don't know, like mental health bag or whatever, like a crisis, like mental crisis bag. And in that bag or in that drawer, maybe whatever, is a picture of like all the people you love and a picture of like all the things you want to hold on for life for, or some like your favorite candy or your favorite drink or your favorite movie, or the like honestly even like the like I don't know like the like a printed out or like written down version of the suicide hotline of your country, or a letter to yourself where from that better mindset, you know, from being outside of that crisis mindset, a letter to yourself as to what you should do and how you're going to get through this, where you are there for yourself. Like making something like this can really change something, and it can also help with this anxiety. And it's also sort of like helping you to put this anxiety into a more, you know, like useful useful track, I guess. Let's drink something again, people. Let's hydrate. Grey soup is right. I never thought of it this way. Thank you, Crade. You're welcome. Because yeah, like our feelings are not there for no reason, guys. Like I can't stress this enough. It's a thing where like I know I sound like a broken record because I repeat myself so often on this. But our feelings are there for a reason. Like we have logic. Like if we look at a person who's like who wants to commit suicide, they have proper logic in that moment, okay? If we look at a person who's like really, really anxious, they have logic. Why that logic looks so much different as to the logic of, let's say, a regular person in that moment is because the information is different. The way how we interpret the world is different. Like a a mentally like healthy person or like stable person in that moment is in that position. I don't know, like let's say, you know, like you like spill water, like a person who's like not emotionally like bothered by this is just gonna like see the water on the floor and be like, oh, now I need to refill my glass. What a nuisance. But they not gonna be like they will just like, I don't know, like that's sort of like it, you know, like whereas a person who's like really like scared to make mistakes might have like a way different reality in that moment, and being like, I don't know, like, oh no, the water's on the floor, like it's gonna ruin the floor, like the floor is gonna like get like water damage, and then like we have to redo the entire apartment because we cannot like redo only like one like part, right? And then like, oh my god, and I don't know, like my husband is gonna hate me and is gonna think I'm incompetent, and then he will make like snarky remarks like with friends, and like people are gonna hold this over my head the entire time, and like everybody in stream will think I'm stupid, and then like nobody's gonna watch my stream anymore because I can't like help anybody, right? And then like there is so much negative information that from that perspective, all of a sudden, this fear is really real and makes sense. But it's our interpretation of the situation which changes in that moment. And the annoying part is we influence our body with this, and our body influences us with this. So the moment we put our body in sort of like the survival mode, you know, our body is going to interpret everything from that survival mode, you know? So it's really a situation where, like, it's a downward spiral. But what we can believe in that moment is that to ourselves, this fear we have, to some part of ourselves, whatever we feel, is entirely logically bulletproof and makes sense. The second thing we know, it does not need to be reality. It does not need to be the only way how we can interpret this situation. So we can see our feelings as valid and cannot see them as like, oh no, now I'm getting a panic attack and this, I fucking hate this body and I fucking hate this planet and like this whole situation I'm in, I fucking hate everything. Or we can just be like, I'm getting like really like, my heart is like racing and like I'm shaking and like this is getting really scary right now, and just being like, okay, so like this is a really scary situation for my body right now. And like then understanding, okay, so when we think all of this, like that makes a lot of sense. But is that actually true? Like, is that actually the only way we can interpret this? And like, how would my friend XYZ see this situation? Like, how would they behave? Or like, how would Crate behave in that situation? And then sort of like fact-checking ourselves a little bit in that moment and being like, maybe this is not as bad as I think. And just believing that I'm scared right now. I'm scared of the monster under my bed, but I think there's no monster. And I believe that there's no monster. So, do you have a channel on YouTube? Yes, I do. That situation is like a storm in real life, not in our control. When will come and how bad it's going to come. I just have been afraid of storm. But I've not been taking precaution for it. Yeah, you're right. I know my strength. I have dealt a lot worse things, and I have this in me to deal with things that just that in anxiety and panic we forget how we can actually be there for ourselves. Exactly. We are in that moment, we're in panic mode. But now we can still do something. Now we can prepare as good as we can for that moment. And I think we owe it to ourselves that we take that fear serious. Because our body tells us that the next situation could be bad. Like, we've got the warning. So let's actually do something with that information. Let's try to prepare as well as we can and see if we can make it. And if it never happens, you know, like, we're still safer. Like, we can, like, you know, like, we can just live in peace because we know, like, if it were to happen, like, we're ready. I'm glad, Grace, that you found a fix. Oh no. Guys, why are you all getting 7 ads? What's going on? Oh, you don't even have 7 ads? You just... God damn it. I honestly, like, I was fooled by Grumpy Palace ad for my own subs, bro. I was like, oh, what are you saying? Let me actually, like, read through that. It was like in those, like, YouTube videos where you don't see the ad coming and then, like, you're halfway and you're like, wait a minute. This is a like, VPN ad, actually. And welcome. Do you say your name like Utah? Is that how you pronounce it? Welcome to the stream. And thank you for the follow. try to make a refreshment drink with orange juice and blueberries and mint. So essentially just like orange juice and mint and then like boba, but like instead of boba you have blueberries. Seems good. I'm thinking of starting something I really care about. How should I start out? What is the focus of this question, Yuta? Is it like, are you scared about starting out in any way already? Or is it more like, just a general, like, how would you do it? You just were out and shoveled snow. Great training, now I'm tired. Really good exercise. Just take a little break now. Drink some water. Oh my lord. Oh my god. Close the door, please. It's getting cold. I'm really warm. Oh my god. That was like proper. Not yeah. I need a sippy cup for sure. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's try again. Oh. I don't know what happened. Do you need adult supervision? What do you mean? You guys are here. Like, you're gonna take care of me, right? Like, you call the ambulance. Sure. I believe in you. You're welcome, Navandrum.